Hi, folks. I'm backstage with Troy Millette here. Troy, as many people know, is the artist curator for our Homegrown in Vermont initiative. So he's put, I don't know what, 30, 40 artists on the various stages anymore and puts our festival together.
Yeah.
And we're starting 2026 off with a real bang. We're backstage right before our sold out Spruce Peak Unplugged concert with Matt Quinn. You're going to open up. So I'd love for you to just tell the folks about, you're so great about talking about what this program does for artists. So, what does it mean to know that you're going to get out there in front of 425 Mount Joy fans tonight?
Yeah, well, it's great. So Matt and I have had the privilege, based on a relationship we built at Spruce Peak Arts back in 2024, to kind of engage and keep that camaraderie going through social media. And I think it's so important. I can't say it enough. What you guys do to put local Vermont artists on a stage with someone like Matt Quinn, someone like Stephen Page from Bare Naked Ladies, someone like Deer Tick, and tie that balloon to a larger umbrella, to a blimp like the Mount Joy umbrella. I think it really gives clout and merit to what people are doing day in and day out in the clubs and traveling around and playing grocery store openings and playing the parking lots of gyms when they open up and sticky clubs like Nectar's, which we just lost here in Vermont. I think it just gives that boost to a brand that could be fledgling or could be ready to blossom. And I think it's so great. And it means so much to me.
How do you approach a gig like this,
Yeah.
understanding that, our goal with Homegrown is for as many of those folks to become Troy Millette and the Fire Below
Yeah.
fans, but we know what they're here to see, right?
Yeah.
So how do you approach putting the set together, understanding those things?
Well, when I get ready for a set, I always pray that the Counting Crows retire so that that fan base has something new they need to latch
Sure.
on to. And today was kind of peculiar because I had to graffiti the Dallas Cowboys star on everything that Matt might potentially use in his green room, so that the Eagles have their playoff hopes shattered before they even begin. But I think for me, it's about giving that mouche bouge, right? You have 40 minutes in front of people who might not otherwise buy a ticket to a Troy Millette and the Fire Below show, aren't going to come. Doesn't matter the size of the stage or the room we're playing. If they haven't heard of you, they're not stepping into that. So I have 400 people who are here to see Mount Joy, and I want to make sure they walk away with a piece of who I am in that 40 minutes, and also, sprinkling in something that I think they might like. I think we use the covers as invitations into our original stuff. Here's a song from the 90s that you probably remember. Sing along with us. You're part of the night. And I think that invitation is so important. And when it works, it's bliss. And when it doesn't, it can make for a long 40 minutes, but you get Matt Quinn at the end.
I've talked a lot about the concept for our Unplugged series is not that it's literally unplugged, but that it's an homage to the old MTV Unplugged. And you've heard me say more times than probably you care to, I'm a person who believes the best Nirvana album is that MTV Unplugged album. And it's because of the intimacy and the storytelling. So we understand that that's what they're here to see from Matt, that they're going to get a more intimate show, a little more storytelling, maybe some mistake making, maybe some songs that he never plays live, very different than when Mount Joy sells out Madison Square Garden. So as the opener, how are you balancing the giving them enough of your music versus letting them get to know you through
Yeah.
some of that storytelling?
I think the Fire Below might be the most unique blend of always doing that. When we when we play a set, it's probably 30% my nonsense and then 70% our tunes. So for me, this is like home. This is like sitting. I want people to leave like they just saw me sit on my couch and have a conversation for 45 minutes, and then we could go do the same thing in the lobby, and you can take home a T-shirt if you want. So for me, it's how do I let you know that I'm welcoming you in and I want you to be a part of this. And I'm thankful that you're here attempting to be a part of it, even if really you're just waiting for the guy who's coming on next.
Sure, sure. So then, of course, the big flagship for Homegrown Vermont is our festival every
Yeah.
summer, and you really curate that festival and put it together. So, any sneak peeks for the audience? That audience has grown and grown.
Yeah.
Last year we had Ryan Miller show up and headline to again tie his balloon to Homegrown.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we're going to have a nice big headliner this year as well. But what are you thinking about for the festival?
I think that there's so much talent, and we get submissions of people I've never met and never heard of
Yeah, we
every
got
single day.
7 today.
That's incredible. And I think that it's one of those things I say ad nauseum, speaking of your tropes surrounding Homegrown, but they're true. They're not cliches. I think the only way you get DC, the only way you get Chicago, the only way you get Nashville, New York, is that rising tides raise all ships. To see someone like Ryan Sweezy form this band and in 3 years be playing a primo slot at Homegrown, as someone who played solo in every bar from here to Boston for so many years, that makes me proud to be associated with him. It makes me proud to see what he's doing. So for me to discover new music is not who's coming for my spot. It's who's my next best friend in the scene, who's my next collaborator. And that's what this festival really is for me. It's an opportunity to hang out with 30 people from 10 different bands that I really, really like and who I really want to get to know and who I want to work with in September, October, November, December, January, all the way through the year. No, that mission doesn't stop August, the second weekend in August. That goes on through the year. We're here making music all year. So I think for me, a mix of some favorites from next year, some returning favorites. Sean Daly, Milton Busker, he just dresses too nice to not at least get the invite.
Yeah, he's the fashion plate that we need.
And I think Kiss said they're unavailable. But other than that, Rush, they're back. Maybe,
Okay.
I don't know. They must have Vermont ties. They use Vermont maple syrup one time, and that qualifies them.
So I'm going to close on the question that I ask everyone, and this is a good one to ask a homegrown artist, because what you have to keep in mind is this will get clipped, and when you're really famous, you're going to see this everywhere. So what's something Troy likes to do when he's not playing music that we might not expect about you? Are you like an expert basket weaver, or are you just binging Love Island endlessly?
Yeah.
What's your thing?
It's somewhere right in the middle. I think I like to send all the members of Mount Joy unhinged DMs. That's probably my favorite pastime. PlayStation. I'm a WWE 2K25 master, world ranked. And I also, running the Fire Below is like running a small business. I'm doing graphic design. I'm sending emails. I'm designing T-shirts. So I don't free time. I hang out with my dogs and my girlfriend and do this 200 times a year.
Awesome. Well, last thing. So to give you the moment, because again, we want to promote you. So happen to see that your podcast was listed amongst the top 10 in Vermont this year. So why don't you close out by telling the folks about the podcast?
Yeah, I host a podcast with my friend Paulie V called Loading Through the Back. It's on social media. You can find us at Load In Podcast, loadinpodcast.com. We've had guests like REO Speedwagon and Soul Asylum, Matt Nathanson, my man crush, my forever man crush, Matt Nathanson. I'm super grateful. We have season 4 starting up a couple weeks here.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll do another live one this year.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Well, thanks so much, Troy. Thanks, folks, for paying attention and listening. Matt Quinn will be on the couch next.